It's 6 p.m. Eastern. Welcome to the Daily Wrap. And tonight on the show, Sirius XM radio star, columnist with Forbes magazine, and the Daily Wrap's version of Norm from Cheers. Rick Unger is here, everybody.
Okay, that may be the final. I'm out of here.
Okay, no, I'm just saying.
I have to go.
No.
I have to go.
You're missing the context. You're a staple here. Norm is always at Cheers. You're always here. You brought it to alcohol.
I got it to this and alcohol.
Right, no. And she's from the city of brotherly love, and she's like Marcia Clark, but the exact opposite in the courtroom. Attorney Heather Hansen, everybody. And finally, you read him at wisdomdaily.com and newsmax.com. He's the king of .com. Brad Hirschfield joins us.
Call me your highness.
You get
I'm
a
the
good
king.
introduction. We get Marcia Clark and Norm.
Hey, I earned it.
Okay, guys, enough about you. We're here to talk BB. Let's go to the Daily Download. And today, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke to Congress and gave what could be, very well, the speech of his career.
This deal has two major concessions. One,
like
leaving Iran with a vast nuclear program. And two, lifting the restrictions on that program in about a decade. That's why this deal is so bad. It doesn't block Iran's path to the bomb. It paves Iran's path to the bomb. So why would anyone make this deal? Because they hope that Iran will change for the better in the coming years? Or they believe that the alternative to this deal is worse? Well, I disagree. I don't believe that Iran's radical regime will change for the better after this deal. This regime has been in power for 36 years. And its voracious appetite for aggression grows with each passing year. This deal would only whet Iran's appetite for more.
And the Prime Minister believes the United States will still stand with Israel.
We are no longer scattered among the nations, powerless to defend ourselves. We've restored our sovereignty in our ancient home, and the soldiers who defend our home have boundless courage. For the first time in 100 generations, we, the Jewish people, can defend ourselves. This is why, as Prime Minister of Israel, I can promise you one more thing. Even if Israel has to stand alone, Israel will stand. But I know that Israel does not stand alone. I know that America stands with Israel. I know that you stand with Israel. You stand with Israel because you know that the story of Israel is not only the story of the Jewish people, but of the human spirit that refuses again and again to succumb to history's horrors.
Now, Rick, I never speak in hyperbole all that much. I think a lot of times in media we go day to day and say that was the greatest ever or that was horrible. I do speak about hyperbole when I'm speaking about myself, obviously. Hyperbole. Yes. I never say it so much that I actually shorten the word a little bit. But what I saw today was a grand slam. I don't see how anybody could take issue with that speech.
Well, I don't take issue with the quality of the speech. I do take some issue with what we got from the speech. It was a beautifully written speech, incredibly well delivered, very compelling. I don't think he said a word that I disagreed with. My problem was he was taking the president to task for his strategy in this, what we think is going to be this deal. He said that war was not on the table because he actually said that was a false choice, and yet he never told us what he was proposing that would be different. I really thought that's what he was coming here to do.
Bradley, you're shaking your head violently in agreement.
He did give real alternatives. He first said, let's verify some better behavior. This is the largest sponsor of global state terrorism.
We know all that. What does it mean?
Now, begin to measure, benchmarks in place, draw it down so there are fewer lines of connection between mass murder around the globe.
Do me a favor, don't repeat the speech. Tell us what that means.
Here's what it means. Let's have fewer people buried whose deaths are directly attributable to funding from Iran
Great. What do
and
we do in
bombs
the
Iranian
meantime?
bomb makers made.
Fine. What do we
And
do in
if
the meantime?
If we do
Gotta
that,
answer that.
I am, if you'll let me.
You're not
if
saying
we
it.
do that, then we'll begin to be able to even pursue this path. What's really disarming, I think, for the administration is Bibi stood up and said, I don't want to go to war either. The truth is, a greater percentage of Israeli citizens know the experience of war than any percentage of Americans. No one takes that more seriously. No one takes it more seriously than I do, because I have fought and I have buried students.
You're just talking. Does that not equate to no deal? Yes or no?
No, it may equate with no deal.
And if it's no deal, what happens then?
But no
then
deal
we'll
is
have
better
to
than
deal
a
with
bad
it,
deal.
assuming that we have to have a deal. It's like going shopping at the
I'm not
market
saying
when you're
we
hungry.
do. I'm
You
saying
buy a
what's
lot of
the
garbage.
option?
Let Heather in.
Well, I agree with Brad. I mean, a no deal is better than a
Okay.
bad deal, and
What
everyone
happens then?
has said that. Then we maintain where we are and have them act better.
Here's
we
the
need
deal,
to,
folks.
But Rick, they're not doing anything as far as actions to get. There's no stick or carrot here. They're just getting whatever
All
the
right,
heck
let
they want.
me summarize. Look, I'm okay with no deal. I really am.
Great.
But understand what you get. No deal means that they continue to develop their nuclear
Not necessarily.
Not if you have
That's
Really?
much
Why
too
not?
facile.
Why
Here's
not?
why. The claim that they will is based on two things, China and Russia. And the idea is that the group of nations, P5+1, will support the right thing. China and Russia will keep buying their oil, and they'll be able to keep spinning the centrifuges and build bombs. First of all, it's not 100% clear that's the case, because when we're faced with that stark choice, even the Russians and the Chinese may be persuaded to behave differently. And here's the more important thing, right, Rick.
It's quite a gamble.
There are times, no, the bigger gamble is gambling the soul of many nations, including this nation,
That
to
sounds
simply
great.
do what's convenient.
The
And
soul.
if there's nothing is there any, let's put it this way, is there anything you believe is worth fighting for?
Yeah, you absolutely there is. And
What?
That's, wait.
No, you asked
no,
what?
I just
What's
said, yeah,
worth fighting
I'm
for?
about
Let
to
everybody
tell you.
finish each other's
I
sentences,
actually
please.
think there is. And if Bibi had gotten in front of us today and said what I thought he was going to say, which is this deal is no good. If we can't get the right deal, then we have to face reality. And reality is we have to go to war
But we don't.
to face them.
Heather-
but he said we didn't.
It's a
Heather,
false
final
hope.
word.
Well, he did
Final word to
say
Heather.
that
We're
he
almost
didn't
out of
give us
time.
anything
That,
else.
he did
Just
say he's
wrong.
willing to stand alone if he has to. He did say that.
What is that got to
well,
do with
I think that means that he's willing to go
What?
attack if he has to. I think that he means that he's.
He
but I
told
think
us it was a
Rick,
false choice.
But I
Rick, he
think-
you
did.
just said it was a false choice.
It's a false dichotomy. We must go to war.
And you're
Actually,
talking
this is a
about
nation.
souls.
This is our nation ready to go to war.
All I want to know is
Don't
what happens
threaten
if
a war
And,
you don't have to have.
and we get to continue this conversation in the next block. Get some passion, guys. My goodness. More on Netanyahu's historic speech. This is the Daily Wrap, only on Newsmax TV.
What I also know is that he made the same argument before this current interim deal, and even as officials in his own government had to acknowledge that Iran has, in fact, maintained their end of the bargain. So what I'm focused on right now is solving this problem. I'm not focused on the politics of it. I'm not focused on the theater of it. And my strong suggestion would be that members of Congress, as they evaluate it, stay similarly focused.
Oh, look at that. The president not very impressed with Netanyahu's speech, nor was the Huffington Post. Let's look at that headline that we, I believe, have on screen in a moment. There it is. Bibi bluster, which we'll get the opinion of our panel on in just a moment, but it's got some nice alliteration, I guess, even though it's B and blah, but still, it is the Huffington Post. Thunders against, well, if you guys want to put that back up real quick, there was a sub headline to that, if we could just scroll down to it real fast.
Taking a while.
Yes, it is. But as you see, Speaker Boehner was there and Joe Biden as well.
There we go.
Yes, the thunders against potential Iran deal. As many as 60 Democrats boycott may well have done Netanyahu and his allies more harm than good. Obama PM's address didn't offer any viable alternatives. So obviously a very fair and balanced
Wait a
analysis
second.
from the Huffington
That's not
Post.
fair. I wrote that first.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Got it from
Anyway, welcome back to the Daily Wrap. I'm Joe Concho along with Rick Unger and Heather Hansen and Brad Hirschfield. We were talking about Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's speech in front of Congress and, frankly, in front of the world today. Democratic Congressman John Yarmuth from Kentucky had harsher words for Bibi.
I resented the condescending tone that he used, which basically indicated that he didn't think anybody in Congress or the country understood the threat that a nuclear weaponized Iran poses to his country, to the region, and to the world. I think the president has made it very clear we understand that threat. I don't think that there is any doubt that everyone in Congress and the administration understands that Iran has been a bad actor in the region, that it has sponsored terrorism, that it has done things that we would like to see changed.
Okay, Rick, let's get to the politics of this domestically.
I wish everybody could have stayed with us during the break because the debate was great.
Oh, well, we could reenact it right now.
It was
anyway, you heard the president, you heard the congressman there. Are Democrats playing this right?
I don't think it's particularly relevant. I don't know if it made sense or not for them to boycott. I don't agree with Congressman Yarmouth that what Bibi was doing was offensive. I think that a lot of people were listening to the speech beyond the Congress, and I understand why he did what he did. As I said, I don't have a problem with his speech. I thought it was a very good speech. I just wish he had offered up more. There's more things here at play than politics, like the safety of Israel and the safety of the world.
Brad, are you surprised this became a red-blue issue almost, where Democrats are taking, I'm not saying the side of Iran, but against Netanyahu, and Republicans are obviously very, very pro-Netanyahu?
Well, clearly that's the case. I'm not surprised. I wish I was surprised. It seems like everything from the price of paper clips to the safety of the world is becoming a red or blue issue. And I think that's a real challenge that we're all going to pay a price for. Because what I know is, whatever opinion I have, whether it's called red or blue or purple or something in between,
Or in your Ty's case
or if
tonight,
you like my
Chicago Bears,
hey, that's
Orange
Go
Navy.
Bears. That's Chicago Bears,
Go
man.
Bears.
What I know is no one is ever so smart as to be 100% right 100% of the time, and no one and no side is so stupid as to be 100% wrong 100% of the time. We better start harvesting the best from all of these sides and come up with coherent, powerful policies, or we're all going to pay a very big price.
Heather, is this a 2016 political issue?
Well, no, I think that the issue right now is, you know, back in October, the New York Times had a headline that Obama was going to try to do this by himself with a solo executive agreement. I think a big part of what happened today was it got everyone awake to this issue, and you heard even President Obama today say, Congress better be looking at this. I think now perhaps he sees that he's going to need congressional support if he thinks this deal is going to go through, and I think he's not going to get it, and that's got him a little bit concerned.
I think what both of my cohorts just said is absolutely right, and I would add to it that I don't think that the president's going to get away with just leaving it at what he said today. I think the speech was effective enough. It's going to call for a much more formal response from the President of the United States.
I think you're right. I think the challenge he faces now, he looks, the president, like a man hungry for a deal. And we all know that's the
right.
best
Not a
place
good
to
thing.
make a bargain.
Yeah.
And right, it's like the old adage, don't go shopping when you're hungry.
You're hungry.
You buy a lot of things that aren't so good for your health. If right now the president and the Secretary of State are so hungry for a deal that they're going to go right to the snack aisle, right, that's not a way to protect this country.
Interesting.
Now, I understand that people who say you live in constant panic means you don't see opportunity is also true. And that's a real challenge to the other side. But right now, this country looks way too hungry with no partner on the other side. I believe in talking to almost anyone about almost anything. But the president's going to have to work harder if he wants to convince the country.
I don't know
to
that
go.
that's the reality of it, but I do agree with you. The way Bibi set it up today, which was effective, the response that he got, I understand why
That's
you
the
say that.
feel of it. It might
Yes,
not be
I
inner
understand
workings, but
why
that
you
is the
say
feel of it.
Which is why he's going to have to address it
Gonna
more
have to.
formally.
And he's going to have to do it in a better way with more principles. I mean, the amount of things that Bibi cited to as far as Robert Frost and Moses and Purim,
Game of
all of
Thrones.
these, the Game of Thrones, Twitter. I mean, he really gave a speech that spoke to people, and people responded.
I don't watch Game
And
of Thrones. Maybe that was my
that-
problem.
Oh,
maybe
we gotta
that's
watch.
why
Maybe
you
that
don't
Best
was my
trash
like
problem
TV
with
there
the
is.
speech.
Yeah, Rick would be Littlefinger.
But I do know who Moses is.
Comments.
it. You know,
Don't do
Moses.
that on air. I'll say something inappropriate.
But I think President Obama has to give some sort of counter if he thinks he's going to have any chance of convincing not just Congress, but the American people that this is a good idea.
Now, I know I'm the moderator and I ask the questions, but I have a perspective on this as well, and it literally hit me while you guys were just talking. I had to jot it down. This reminds me of the 1990s when Prime Minister Tony Blair, a Brit, when it came to Kosovo, took control of the narrative. and actually became more popular in this country than an already popular President Clinton. And I get this feeling that President Obama watched that. He says he only read the transcript. Okay, it was on every network.
You're not buying that, huh?
No, it was on CNBC. It was even on CNBC and Fox Business.
I have too much respect for him to believe he didn't watch it. He watched the speech.
And who reads the transcript? It's
Right.
a lot easier just to fast forward, you know. But still, this reminds me of the way Clinton resented Tony Blair, the way Obama will now probably resent Netanyahu, because what I saw today was a speech from a leader, and really, I mean, again, I'll use the term, a grand slam.
It was. I think it's actually the perfect summary of what happened here, and I think it's where most Americans are. Most Americans are willing to keep talking to Iran, but they also know we better be clear we're willing to fight for what's right.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Wow, we're ending on a note of agreement.
But
Go
see,
figure.
that was my issue. I wish Bibi had laid that out more firmly. These are our choices. I think we do end up
gotta
having
go,
to fight. I do.
He wants us out.
Okay, well, that will be the last word then. Anyway, coming up next in the Daily Wrap, Hillary Clinton has email issues, and I'm not talking about something the Geek Squad can fix. This is the Daily Wrap, and it's only on Newsmax TV.